Hello out there. I want to talk a little bit about solar, and this is going to be the first video in a series of I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 um, that I want to talk about this, the process, how we got it, and where we are right now. So in this first video I want to talk a little bit about the process on how we actually got the system. So about a year ago we got solicited by a person that just walked up to us, our house, rang the doorbell and tried to sell us a solar system. I was a little bit baffled by that company was actually a home security company, and after digging a little bit I actually found out, well, they do nothing else but resell it. So however, we were still interested in solar, so we talked to them. They gave us a quote and we looked at it. So how it went was they came in, got a few informations from us, pieces of information from us, and then came back about a week later or so with an actual offer. That offer was for a 5.5 kilowatt solar system, and the price was about $26,000. And so they came back, sat down with us, gave us the numbers, and we kind of were like, okay, well, it sounds a little bit expensive. So we're like, well, we're gonna look into the details a little bit, do our research, due diligence, and give you an answer. They started the super pushy sales tactics and wanted an answer from us that day. Well, we told them that we can't do that. They kept pushing, so we actually told them to leave our house, and that was that. However, since that got the whole process started, I started doing my own research and looked into some more, I want to say, reasonable and more professional offers. If you watch YouTube regularly, you probably have seen advertisements or sponsored content for from Energy Sage. I actually just tried that out. I got on their page, put in my information and everything, and guess what? About a month later I still haven't heard from anybody. I didn't get any numbers. I actually got an email from Energy Sage telling me like, oh, we're sorry, this is not your fault, but we can't help you. So I was like, what does that even mean, right? So I never got an answer to that. So that was my experience with Energy Sage. However, I'm going to come back on that later. So I just did everything myself. I googled solar installation companies. We live in Roswell, New Mexico, so we're in the middle of pretty much nowhere. And I just googled and found 11 companies, just, you know, increasing in distance. And actually 1 or 2, I can't remember exactly, from out of state too. So I just called them all up with the information, gave them my information, and so on, and I just want to break down really quick how that turned out. So I called, as mentioned, 11 companies. 4 of them did not get back to me at all. Nothing. I don't even know if they exist or whatever. I left messages or emails or whatever. Nothing. 2 additional ones never sent me a quote, even after getting in contact with me. 1 didn't serve Roswell, so they basically just said flat out, no, we're not doing Roswell. 1 was really nice. They said, well, we can get you a quote, absolutely no problem. However, we're from the other end of the state, and we don't think because of that distance we're going to be competitive, but if you ask us to, we're definitely gonna get you a quote. So I mean, that's nice and honest. I always appreciate that. So that was pretty cool. Oh, there was one that I couldn't even get in contact with. They had a website and contact numbers, but there was no way to talk to anybody. And then I actually got 2 quotes. So that's less than a 20% quote success rate, which is kind of disappointing. But I took those 2 quotes. They were pretty close to each other, so nothing huge in difference there. One was local and the other one was not too far away. But the local one offered me another incentive, which was they would just include the electric panel upgrade. We had a 100 amp panel, and with solar it needed to be upgraded to 200 amps, and they said we'll just do that for free basically. And then I got them into wiring a NEMA 1450 outlet into my garage for free as well. So that was pretty nice, and that was mostly the reason why I said okay, well, and they're local, so I'll go with these guys. But before I said yes and said okay, let's go ahead with this, and acknowledged the quote, I looked back up Energy Sage, and on their webpage they have some kind of a calculator, and that would help you distinguish the cost, that it would be like an average cost. And so I did that, and I found out that just the average price of a solar system is about 20% lower than what they quoted me. What they had quoted me was a 6.4 kilowatt system, and the price was $26,000. So just compared to that very first quote that we got, that's a 1 kilowatt system. Yeah, one kilowatt more for the same price. So that's actually good already. So after looking up Energy Sage and looking at the average prices of solar systems of that size, I found out, well, they quoted me $26,000, but the average price was more like 20-ish thousand. So I called them up and mentioned that to them. I said, well, so I like the quote, I like working with you. It was all very prompt. I got the quote like, I think like just 3 or 4 days after I first contacted them. And they said, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I digged around on the web and I saw that just in general solar systems are cheaper than what you offered me. So the guy was like, well, what exactly did you do? Say the word. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure what he means. And so I said, well, I looked up this website. And he's like, what website? I'm like, Energy Sage? And he's like, oh, okay, well, let me look into that. And just 1 day later he came up with the exact same system but a different price. So we ended up with a price very close, just a smidge over $20,000 from $26,000, just by mentioning the name Energy Sage. So there's a tip for you. So that saved us more than 20% on the whole system. I never had a lower offer. I just mentioned Energy Sage and they came up with a different number. So that's definitely a good way to check on the price of your system, and maybe save some money. Yeah, so like I said, we get a 6.4 kilowatt system back here. We ended up paying just about $20,000. That does not include the tax incentive, which will be on top of that, and that's gonna save us approximately $7,000. The local regulations are that you cannot have a system that produces more than 120% of what you're actually consuming, so that's exactly where we're at. And we're producing a little bit over. Also, we still have a gas water boiler, and the heating in the house is gas as well. So once those break, I will definitely switch them out for electric, and then potentially, and as you can see, there is some more room here on the roof as well, potentially add a few more panels. The only spot which is not good is right here. You can see the chimney there is throwing a shadow, which is the reason why it's shaped like this as well. Obviously right now it's not a huge issue, but in the morning it's casting a shadow just on the edge of those panels there, but it's minimal. And then very late, those trees back there are starting to cast a shadow as well. The other option we have is possibly on the other side here. So this is north facing, but on that slope that might be an option as well. However, there are those trees as well, so the best spot actually might be just extending this a little bit with a few more panels, but that's not going to happen for a little while. So I hope this was interesting for you. Next time I'm going to look into the production, how they set it up, get a little bit into more detail on that, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe down here, subscribe and like. And thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Today I want to talk about the solar system that we have. We have it now, the whole process